The power of silence in a noisy world. In the ruthless game of power, those who climb to the top do not always do so through sheer competence, charisma, or good fortune. Often, their greatest weapon is restraint, the ability to stay silent when accused, to appear unmoved when under attack. This calculated silence, far from being passivity, is one of the boldest and most Machiavellian power plays available to any leader. The act of defending oneself, particularly in public, can signal insecurity, guilt, or weakness. Niccolò Machiavelli, the Florentine political thinker best known for The Prince, never explicitly wrote, "Never defend yourself," but his writings imply it repeatedly. For Machiavelli, perception is more powerful than truth, and power is won not by convincing others of your virtue, but by appearing untouchable. In the world Machiavelli described, a world of shifting alliances, political intrigue, and constant danger, the individual who could maintain composure under fire, who refused to stoop to rebuttals or apologies, often came out on top. Defending oneself may feel natural in a moral framework, but Machiavelli's approach is immoral, focused entirely on effectiveness and outcomes. In his world, self-defense is not a sign of righteousness, it is a signal that you are on the defensive, and therefore, losing. This essay explores the Machiavellian logic behind refusing to defend oneself. Through historical case studies, political psychology, and rhetorical theory, it reveals why those who respond to attacks with silence or offense tend to rise, while those who explain and justify slowly fade into irrelevance. We will uncover how Machiavelli's philosophy subtly promotes the art of flipping the power dynamic, not by fighting back, but by refusing to fight at all. Machiavelli's view on power and perception. Machiavelli's writing is rooted in realism. He saw the world not as it should be, but as it is. Power, in his view, had little to do with justice and everything to do with control. In The Prince, he famously advised rulers to be both a fox and a lion, able to deceive and overpower as needed. But more subtly, he emphasized the importance of perception. A leader must appear strong, decisive, moral, and capable, even if they are not. To Machiavelli, perception trumps reality. This idea is central to the principle of never defending oneself. Defending implies there is something to defend against, an accusation, a flaw, a failure. It puts the ruler in the weaker position. But if the prince remains aloof, unbothered by rumors or attacks, he maintains his image of invincibility. The act of ignoring an insult can signal strength far more than responding to it. Machiavelli wrote that it is better to be feared than loved, if you cannot be both. Why? Because fear generates compliance, while love is fickle. Similarly, stoicism and detachment generate power, while defense can generate suspicion. When a leader defends themselves, they enter the court of public opinion as a peer, not a superior. And in doing so, they risk everything. Why defending yourself is a power trap. To defend oneself is to admit that the accusation holds weight. Even if the defense is solid, even if the accusation is absurd, simply responding acknowledges the attacker's position. In rhetorical terms, you are reacting, not acting. This puts you on the back foot, signaling weakness to both the attacker and the audience. This is especially true in politics and leadership. Public figures who respond to criticism with lengthy explanations often appear rattled, even if their explanations are perfectly reasonable. By contrast, those who ignore attacks, who carry on as if the criticism doesn't even register, often appear above it all. This psychological shift is powerful. The audience subconsciously thinks, if they're not worried, maybe I shouldn't be either. Moreover, self-defense often leads to over-explaining. It is natural to want to correct a false narrative. But in doing so, one risks bringing more attention to the accusation than it deserves. In trying to extinguish the fire, one ends up fanning the flames. Defending yourself may win the argument, but you lose the power dynamic. The focus shifts from your strength to your need to explain. Silence and redirection, the ultimate power play. Machiavellian leaders know that the best way to diffuse an attack is not to address it, it's to make it irrelevant. Silence is not weakness, it is a message in itself. It says, I am not even slightly threatened by this. When Machiavelli wrote about Cesare Borgia, his model prince, he noted how Borgia dealt with betrayals and challenges not with explanations, but with ruthless action or total indifference. He didn't justify. He simply acted. Similarly, in the modern world, leaders like Vladimir Putin, when faced with accusations, rarely engage directly. They redirect, attack, or ignore. The lack of self-defense projects total control. There is another technique closely aligned with silence, redirection. Instead of defending oneself, the powerful individual shifts the conversation. This can be done through a new accusation, a bigger initiative, or a show of strength. The trick is to make the original attack seem small and petty by comparison. This tactic works because human attention is limited. When a person redirects the narrative, they control what people focus on. If someone accuses you of incompetence, and you respond with a bold new initiative or a subtle attack of your own, the original charge fades into the background. You are no longer the defendant, you are back in control. Case studies in Machiavellian power. History offers countless examples of powerful individuals who embodied Machiavelli's principle of never defending themselves. Their success was not due to moral clarity, but to psychological dominance. Henry VIII, for example, never justified his decision to split from the Catholic Church. He simply declared himself head of the Church of England. When challenged, he did not debate theology, he executed or exiled his opponents. His lack of justification made his actions seem inevitable, not questionable. Catherine de Medici, Queen of France, was accused of orchestrating the St. Bartholomew massacre, a brutal attack on French Protestants. She never publicly defended herself. By staying silent, she avoided a debate she could never win and maintained her political standing. Napoleon Bonaparte, when faced with gossip, treachery, and international condemnation, rarely stooped to rebuttals. He spoke only of his goals, his vision, his mission. His silence on personal attacks made him appear larger than life, a man focused on destiny, not drama. In modern times, Donald Trump has used redirection as a primary tool. He rarely defends, he attacks or reframes. His constant offense keeps him in control of the narrative. While controversial, this tactic has made him an enduring figure in politics, one who dominates headlines rather than defends in shadows. Psychology of authority, why it works. The psychological basis for never defending yourself is rooted in dominance theory. In any social group, human or animal, the alpha does not justify their actions. Justification implies hierarchy, and those at the top do not explain themselves to those below. According to social dominance theory, people instinctively respond to confidence and authority. When a leader appears calm, detached, and unbothered, followers perceive strength. When a leader defends or justifies, followers perceive instability. It's not about logic, it's about subconscious cues. The confidence trap plays into this. People are more likely to believe those who appear certain, even if that certainty is unfounded. Refusing to defend yourself projects total certainty. It says, "I don't need your approval." Furthermore, defending yourself can create the backfire effect. This psychological phenomenon occurs when people, upon hearing a defense or correction, double down on their original belief. In politics, trying to correct false accusations can inadvertently reinforce them. Silence or redirection avoids this entirely. Modern applications. In the digital age, where reputations are built and destroyed in seconds, the Machiavellian principle of refusing to defend oneself is more relevant than ever. Social media rewards outrage and controversy. Those who respond to criticism often find themselves pulled deeper into the algorithmic mud. In business, executives who face accusations of mismanagement may choose to say nothing publicly, while quietly redirecting the company's narrative through bold moves or acquisitions. In entertainment, celebrities often ignore rumors, knowing that denial only extends the story. That said, this principle must be applied strategically. In some cases, particularly when silence is interpreted as guilt, redirection is better than pure silence. The goal is not to appear evasive, but above the fray. Ethical implications. Machiavelli's advice is effective, but is it ethical? Refusing to defend oneself may protect power, but it can also obscure truth. When applied maliciously, it allows guilty individuals to dodge accountability. It promotes a politics of perception over substance. There is also a question of leadership integrity. In democratic societies, transparency matters. Leaders who refuse to answer may lose public trust. The key is balance, using strategic silence when the attack is trivial or manipulative, but being honest when the stakes involve the public good. Conclusion: the power of not playing the game. Machiavelli understood that power is a game of optics, not ideals. To defend yourself is to play by someone else's rules. To refuse is to change the game entirely. The boldest move a leader can make is to remain silent in the face of accusation, not because they're guilty, but because they understand that engaging lowers their status. In a world obsessed with image, control, and narrative, silence becomes a statement. Not of indifference, but of dominance. As Machiavelli might put it, those who explain, obey. Those who rule, do not explain. Never defend yourself. Flip the power dynamic instead.